What's good? What's good? I just got a really good Spark order that I got to pick up in 15 minutes. I hope I didn't get tip baited, but it's 20 bucks in tips between two deliveries for 8 miles. Heck yes, I'll do that. Anyways, tip baiting means people will say they'll give you a tip, but when the order's done, they don't actually give you the tip. People do that. People are shitty. Anyways, let's focus on the video. Inflating a currency is to oppress a people. To inflate a currency is to oppress a people. Because you are essentially taking away from them. That is the very simple way of saying that. You are taking away from what they originally had. So if, let's say they had 100 grand, right? And then you inflate the currency to the point where that 100 grand is no longer worth what it used to be. It now takes $125,000 to buy the equivalent items or goods. So you're taking away somebody's ability to provide for themselves and to interact with material reality. And the more this happens, the more inflated a currency becomes, or the more it becomes devalued, the worse the problem gets. And so we're like at the beginning of the exponential curve point. In the next 10 to 20 years, the dollar is going to be essentially worthless. And it's wild to say that, like, because most people are still going about their day-to-day lives. They don't fully understand the collapse that is coming. They do not understand the spiritual war that is happening. They do not understand the shifts that are going to occur. And so while we talk about it today, I did just say in the next 10 to 20 years, we're at the beginning of that exponential spike upwards. Buy Bitcoin, obviously, gold and silver, physical, tangible assets, things known as precious metals. I think those are going to bridge us to the next iteration of currency, whatever we do. Bartering is going to be huge. I think that's going to be huge moving forward as well. But we still will want a store of value. Gold and precious metals are great because they actually have purpose. That's what makes them valuable, not just because they're shiny, but because they have purpose. So anyways, men, we rarely ever go a week without thinking about the Roman Empire and what was one of the significant contributing factors to the downfall of the Roman Empire. Greed, corruption, etc. But they clipped their coins. That's how they devalued their currency, or that's how they created inflation. They literally started taking pieces off of their coins and making them smaller, quite literally. And it has the same effect as when our central banks print a whole bunch of money. Even they don't print it mostly anymore. They still print some, but a lot of it's just digital dollars, just ones and zeros. It's so fake, so fake. It used to be somewhat real when it was backed by gold, but at this point, the only thing keeping the dollar afloat essentially is the fact that we continue to agree to be wage slaves to the fascist corporate state known as the United States of America, which is just a branch of the Bank of England and the ruling globalist elites that I always talk about. So it's a huge web, a funnel, but if you follow up the funnel, you essentially get to the global elite bankers, and they're the ones who are pulling the strings. They hire the social engineers, they buy the politicians, they get blackmail on the powerful people in the world so they can manipulate them. This is not like, to the average awakened person, that's not news. But I'm trying to reach the non-awakened people. And I'm trying to do so with real life examples and with real life information. Inflation is rampant right now. The dollar is not at all what it used to be, and it's only going to continue to get worse. I was getting a massage the other day, and I was kind of surprised at how based the massage therapist was. It was another male. He's like in his 50s maybe, but he's very active still pretty virile. And he's also based. He's pretty awake, and I was shocked at the places we went during our conversation. But I told him part of my plan, I'm leaving my job, part of my plan is to withdraw whatever little bit of money I can from my 401k, and I'm going to take a tax hit and like a federal penalty hit. But even doing that, the money right now is worth more than it will be in 40 years when I theoretically retire. Because in 40 years, America's not going to be a thing. Not in the way it is today in any capacity. I really think 40 years is a fair timeline for the shift to occur. It's happening right now. The shift in timelines, essentially. And people there's still an opportunity to get on the right ship. The right ship, the elevation ship, the consciousness elevation ship. The people who want to love on the planet and love on their community, but from a place of freedom and sovereignty, from voluntary action. Because it's not altruism, it's not compassion, it's not love if it's a forced action. A la the taxation, the social welfare state, which is a fucking joke anyways. And so the more the global elites feel that they're losing, the more they're going to tighten their grasp. But they have already lost. We're just witnessing what one person called sort of the death gasp. Like the last sort of exhale of a dying beast. And from the ashes, from the rubble, we will rebuild. And that's when community truly becomes key. That's when sovereignty truly is given back to us. There's still some battles to be fought yet. The monster is screeching and flailing, but we are going to win. But first, we need to figure out how to stop being wage slaves to the matrix. Because inflation is oppression. Our homelessness crisis, our mental health crisis, our obesity epidemic, all of our crises are the result of evil forces manipulating material reality against the average person in the favor of themselves, the global elites. They use things like the state and like the church to brainwash your mind. But more and more people are waking up. Especially as their wallets get hit and they're like, what the fuck is going on? The average American is struggling. And so I was really disappointed that Kyle reached out from the Brothers Blue channel, and he, was all nice at first and saying, hey, I really think we can have productive conversation. And I submitted what I thought was the best topic thesis to discuss. And it was that the average American of every gender and race is struggling right now. And the title was actually Crossing the Divide, Healing Our Community. And I had asked him, I said, can you agree on these tenets? That the average American of every race and gender is struggling right now. So that was like the subtopic. The main title was Crossing the Divide, because he and I are on much different sides. And his brother and Steven from the BG cast were going to participate. It was going to be like a 2-on-2 sort of conversation. But he couldn't even agree with and acknowledge that point. And it really stuck with me that I'm out here trying to truly help our communities, and he has no interest in doing that. He wanted to talk about the Great Reset, and he wanted to create like a pro and a con why we should accept or reject the Great Reset. whatever. Fuck that. No, I want to talk about healing our communities, about taking back our power, about dismantling the corrupt and evil state, because that is the source of our struggles, the source of our oppression. It is a shared oppression. The average American, regardless of their race and gender, is feeling this. And once we can acknowledge that, and once we can come together with that, that's when we can start making progress. Thank you very much. Long video, over 10 minutes. I apologize. If you watched it all, much love.